Welcome everyone, welcome to Saturday, as I mysteriously stare in the distance for whatever reason. Today we are talking about the introduction, the surprise rather, of patch 10.0.5. That's right, we are getting a content patch soon enough. It should come out between January and February. Either way, it's quite positive already that we don't have to wait for 8 months before we get our first content patch like we had to wait in Shadowlands. Of course, this patch itself won't bring us a new raid or a new season of Mythic Plus or some new things in PvP. However, we still have quite a good amount of content in this patch. So big that in fact I am going to split one video into two and talk about the second part of the incoming patch, the tuning, the balance tuning, the buffs and the nerfs, as well as the changes to the talents of a few specs in a different video, because for today what we're talking about is transmogs, is collectible appearances, mounts, toys, pets, achievements, and a few other one of these type of rewards, collectible, many of these from the open world, from more laid back, chill activities as opposed to the more hardcore competitive type of stuff. So the trading post itself, unless you sleep under a rock or you religiously only watch my videos, trading post has been a feature announced by Blizzard a few days ago. If you want the quick TLDR, is that once the patch lands, there are going to be two new cute little shops, one in Stormwind and one in Orgrimmar. These shops are going to have a whole bunch of cosmetic rewards costing different points, different levels of currency. This currency is the trader's tender, and the ways to collect this currency are going to vary. It could be open world activities, dungeons, raids, PvP, professions, holiday events, etc, etc. The more events you complete, the more currency you have, the more currency you have, the more points you have to grab all of these different cosmetic effects. Of course, as expected, the higher you go in cost, the more cool, shiny, rare the type of rewards will be. Blizzard also already showed us that they are willing to take currently available in the in-game shop mounts and put them in the trader's post. So instead of actually spending money like 20 bucks for this terrible mount, the Celestial Steed, that steed will now be available in the first iteration of the trading post, for example. Now, what I said is first iteration. I said first iteration because the trading post will be rotating every month. So you won't have an infinite amount of time to gather the currency for each and every reward you want. You will only have 1 month. This is the part where we see the Doom posters coming out the woodworks and complain that Blizzard once again is filling the game with FOMO, fear of missing out mechanics, forcing players to log in every month for fear of missing out on all of these rewards. Now, Blizzard has taken a step forward, preemptively talking and explaining this feature. The rewards, which will be rotated out every month, will then come back in following months later on. So it's not gonna be something available only for something like a promotion and then disappear from WoW for years to come. So it's not gonna be lost forever. You have two ways to gather this currency. One is to completing monthly activities in the Traveler's Log, and the other one is to automatically, each month, simply log in and head to the trading post to collect 500 of your trader's tender every month. I pointed out the Traveler's Log. This is going to be the new introduction in your adventure guide. You know, the Shift J button, assuming you haven't changed the key binding, the one that shows up your suggested content, your dungeons and your raids. Now it will have one extra addition, the Traveler's Log, showing you exactly which type of activities you have available for collecting your currency. So in this case, you can see Dragonflight open world content, dungeons and raids, holidays and events, as well as pet battles or professions or PvP, for example, and then the detailed list of what exactly do you have to do to complete the activity and collect your currency. So this is what was announced just a few days ago. Now, however, the patch 10.0.5 is on the PTR, which means we are able to start data mining a few features, a few more in-depth features of the actual patch and of this actual trading post system. For example, we can see a bit farther on which type of activities you actually have to do to collect these points every month. It could be something very basic, something very simple, something that looks almost like a world quest, like fish up items in the Dragon Isles, or maybe create 20 auctions, right? It's something like that. And then it can get on the more silly side, like for example, using the emote hug undead characters, or using the emote love on the dragon aspects in Valdrakken, or maybe even something funny like eat chocolate cake slice, lovely cake slice, and berry pie slice, just to get 50 currency for your trading post, for example. Either way, many, if not most, of these activities don't really seem to be that challenging. It doesn't seem like it's made to put extra pressure on you, like for example, you have a mission to complete a +20 key, or defeat 5 mythic raid bosses, you know? It's mostly like complete a group dungeon in cross-faction, for example, or complete grand hunts with the centaurs, or participate in the Taskar community feast. So something very laid back, right? It's not supposed to be a checklist of things you have to put tons of effort in to be able to min-max all of the possible points you want every month, etc, etc. So it seems quite laid back in that sense, which is exactly what is needed from this type of activity in the open world. We also have, of course, the data mining of quite a lot of rewards available from the trading post. As we already mentioned, we had the Celestial Steed announced by Blizzard themselves for 900 points. You have also the Fury of the Fire Lord, the Flaming Flail, available for 750 points, and the fresh new mount Ashadar, Harbinger of Dawn. This is a double color scheme mount, both moon and sun themed, to go very well with the Night Elf Warden style, the art style of that, which will also come with its own transmog. The sun themed Warden set and the moon themed Warden set to go, of course, very well with the mount itself. So this is the essence of this trading post system. It will just be primarily a feature to keep you more busy, if you weren't busy enough already, to keep you more busy in the open world. Going around doing things, doing some more wacky things, you know, basically see this system as a more funny, as a more laid back set of world quests, which instead of expiring every 3 days or 7 days, they expire in 30 days. Once the rotation of the trading post ends. Of course, many players have pointed out the similarity to a battle pass. Even when you see something like this, it basically looks like a battle pass. You have your progress, you have your points, and then the deeper you go, the better the rewards. Of course, what players are also aware of when they think of a battle pass, they usually also think about a secondary bar above this bar, which is usually only unlocked with real money. So basically they lure you in with a scuffed battle pass, and then they dangle in front of you all of the shiny rewards that you can only get from actually paying for the battle pass. So that's what some never happy players pointed out at first. Now, what are the chances that Blizzard will test the waters with the initially free Trader's Post and then eventually add an actual in-game battle pass pricing for this feature? I think the chances are very low. I think they would not go for this, not when you already have a monthly subscription. It could be maybe to test the waters, to ditch the subscription and start putting the subscription money into a battle pass for this system. That would be great if they did that, but I don't think there's any chance they will go for something like paying full price for the game, plus paying for the sub, plus paying for a battle pass, for something as small as some open world activities and some cosmetic rewards. So I don't think it's worth listening to the Doom posters pointing out about how this resembles a battle pass, therefore it must resemble the pay-to-win money scheme that usually comes following battle passes, right? I think it's mostly just in a similar note, in a similar vein, but it won't take the same pricing model of a battle pass. Now, talking about the event itself, to those who have followed me for a while, you might already know how much I think the open world content and how much I think keeping players busy in the open world is important. You might have heard me rambling about the problems and the biggest issues in Shadowlands, pointing out repeatedly how the biggest mistake of Shadowlands was to keep the open world empty and totally mess up the endgame open world activities. From the Maw to Kortia, we had some pretty bad back-to-back endgame zones, and the rest of the world was empty. So that was the biggest mistake of Shadowlands. So that was also my biggest wish and my biggest hope for Dragonflight, to get more things to do in the open world, and why I was also very positive at the open world of Dragonflight. Because the professions being very important and completely revamped, giving you a much more importance in grinding renowns with the factions, having you spend more time in the open world. That was already positive enough. This new feature is even better than what I could have hoped for, because this is just more ways to get players into the open world for actually good rewards. Now imagine just the first month. Imagine just the first month of rewards we just pointed out and compare them to the rewards you had available for 2 full years in Dragonflight when it came to maxing out your rep, maxing out your anima with your covenant. And you got your transmog with the covenant, your mount with the covenant, maybe a toy, and that was it. I think this is already, for example, much better than what we have had for 2 full years in Shadowlands when it came to open world rewards. So that is a very good way to keep players busy in the open world, to keep them from not having any more reasons to log in. If you're not one of the guys or one of the gals who just logs in because they want to do PvP, arenas, RBGs, or they want to do Mythic Plus every day, then you weren't going to have many ways and many reasons to log in Shadowlands, for example. Now you already have more reasons to log into Dragonflight with the systems we just mentioned, and now with the trading post you will just have even more reasons to log in every month, even if for a little, even if for a couple of weeks, to do all of the trading post events and rewards to collect them all, basically. Even then, that would just be an improvement over what we have gotten in the past when it comes to open world content and open world rewards. So I think this is a massive success, as it will come out eventually. Maybe there are going to be some disastrous news about it, but I hope not. So I think it's leaning towards an excellent start for the expansion. So let's just hope we're not jinxing it right now and it continues being this positive. We will also see, likely tomorrow, if we actually have jinxed it and it will become actually pretty bad with the second part of the changes of 10.0.5, the more serious, the more competitive part of changes when it comes to balance tuning. But for today, this is where we stop. So as usual, of course, thanks to all of my Patreon supporters for supporting me. You have, as a reminder, many other ways to support without actually spending money. Liking and commenting down below on this video, as well as subscribing to the channel itself, are more than good enough. Supporting to my Patreon will give you access to my Discord server if you ever want to pop by and have a chat, maybe discuss about the feedback on the videos, for example. I'm usually always available there. You can then follow me on Twitter. If you don't care at all about Twitter itself, you might as well just pop by to see me whenever I post that I'm going live on my stream. My stream being over at Twitch, generally starting past 10 PM European time zone, 1 PM Pacific, and 4 PM Eastern US time zones. With this out of the way, thank you guys again for watching. See you guys soon, and in the meantime, I just hope we don't have to go month after month after month of people constantly doomsaying the paid battle pass is coming. This whole system is a ruse. Please don't.